a payment in the field if you're a technician, how to get that over to QuickBooks if you're not taking a payment in the field. And I'm going to be using QuickBooks Desktop today, and I'll be using an iPad to demonstrate what the technicians are going to see. So if you do have a question throughout the demonstration, go ahead and type that question in to the chat box, and I will respond as we go along. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. I'm pulling up my iPad here. So if you can't see my screen, go ahead and chat right into the chat box so I can assist you. So this is the home screen of Field Service Management. Oh, one last thing about the GoToMeeting box. There should be an orange arrow at the top of your GoToMeeting box, or two arrows facing one another, so that way you can minimize that and get it out of your way. So this is the home screen of Field Service Management, and you're going to tap on the work order tab and change this view here in order to see the different stages that your work orders are in. If you do want to see a master list where all your work orders are located, you're just going to go to the dispatch board, and you're going to go to the list view, and you're going to go to an area that says all work orders. Now this will list all of your work orders needs to be scheduled work orders here in this view in one fell swoop. The pending list, this is just the work orders that are active, so they haven't yet been completed. Completed means they've moved off of the pending list because they've been completed. And then needs to be scheduled, that would just be work orders that haven't yet had a scheduled date, but they may have had a technician assigned. And unassigned means they don't have a scheduled technician. So I'm going to create a work order here. I'm just going to go to my customer tab and choose one of my recently viewed customers. Another nice item is this feature is this recent items over here. So if you want to get right back to a customer that you were just on, or perhaps a work order number that you were just on, you can do that here by going to the recent items tab. So I'm going to start with Red Lobster here, and I'm just going to say new work order, and it's going to pull right in to the first step of the work order wizard. So there's step 1, the customer. Step 2, we're going to assign what we're doing, and then we're going to pick the time in the day, and then we're going to confirm it, and then the work order will be finished. So this should only take us a few moments. So this is the screen where you're confirming the information with the client. So if you do need to change their address, you would do that here. Or if you do need to add another location, you would just hit add to add another site. In QuickBooks Desktop, it's going to come over as ship to 2. So it'll be ship to 1 if you've marked this, the billing address is the same as the shipping address. So it'll come under, when you go ahead and you add another location here, it's going to move over in QuickBooks Desktop as ship to 2, and then it's going to appear here in the drop down for you to select it. And the same thing here with confirming the phone number and the email. If I do need to change that information, I'm just going to hit edit, and it's going to bring me here. As you notice, this orange box in the right hand corner keeps appearing. So if I want to, I can just click there, and it's going to take me right back. And never uncheck this box when you're creating a work order. Hopefully that's an update that they will make in the system, so you can't uncheck that. And then this is the customer's PO. So go ahead and click next. And now we're going to go ahead and select the type of work order we're working on. So I've created 3 types of work orders here: projects, request, and time and material. So that way I can run reports against those work order types. Just an idea when we're customizing your field service management. So today I'm just going to say I have a clogged sink. Okay, sink clogged in a master bathroom. Great. And now I'm going to click next. And I'm going to go ahead and say today. And I'm going to choose my technician Russell, and I'm going to go ahead and double book him. And you can see that I did that, so you can double book, and you can see what's going on with this work order. It's just a PM, so I am going to go ahead and double book it because I know that we've told our technicians the PMs do not take priority over the standard service calls. So I am going to go ahead and double book him, and then I can see what's going on with the other technician schedules by hovering my mouse over that work order. And the black line that's running down the middle of the screen, that represents the current time. And I can go ahead and move my cursor here to see what's going on. And if I want, I can just move. I'm actually I'm scheduling this job here, so this is the only work order that I can move. If I do want to move these other work orders, I would just open up the dispatch board in order to do that. So you can also make helpers. You can also add helpers on here as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click next, and then I'm going to click finish. All right, now my work order has been created, and you can see here it's inserting the date, today's date. That's a feature that we can customize. I like that. Just a quick view, you can see it was created today, and then it's going to put 4 digits at the after that. Okay, so now let's open up the iPad and go ahead and take a look. I'm just bringing it up onto the screen. Just give me one moment. Okay, so here is my iPad, and I'm just going to click on the Intuit Field Service Management in the left-hand corner of the screen, the white wrench with the blue background. Come back here, and I'm going to refresh my screen, and I've got 2 there waiting for pickup. So I'm going to click on Red Lobster Target. That was that preventative maintenance I was telling you about. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to skip that one because I can see I've got a standard service call here in my list. And oops, I need to do one thing. So I've hidden the invoice total, but I do want to take a payment today. Okay, so the invoice total is there now. So I'm going to go ahead and choose status, which was the top field here under type. I'm going to choose status, and I'm going to switch that to pick up and start because I've arrived at the customer's location. And it does say getting location. It is sending my exact location back to the dispatch board so the office can see where I'm at. And even if I don't change my status, it is still sending my location every 5 or 10 minutes, depending upon how you have your GPS settings configured. Oh, this is kind of taking a long time. Hurry up. All right, so let's just, while that is working, let's see. All right, sometimes it does that. Let's just go over the dispatch board. This is the, let's go start with the schedule view. So the schedule view, there's a day and then there's a week button here. We're on the day button. And if you do want to check out the week's view, you would just click the W, and it's going to show you the number of active work orders that I have for each technician in the cells here. Now, the number that you want to pay attention to is the number that's next to the technician's name. So Bob's got a 1 here, and that just means he's got 1 active work order. So I can see here that I've got 2 and 2, and I've got a 2 here. So I've got 4 work orders, but then I've only showing a 2, which means that out of these 4 work orders, 2 of them have been completed and 2 are active. So you can just click into any cell to see what's going on with the current day. So you can use this white box, this white area right in front of the work order to move that work order around. So if I wanted to, I can move it here. And then now you can see that it's turned yellow because of that due date time. That's why it would turn red, to show that it was overdue. So I just moved the time and now it's not red any longer. So if I wanted to say move these back, maybe this one is listed as an emergency. Let's see. So if I want to see more, I would just click on that job and then it would open up behind me. And I can see it's due by 10:45 a.m. So I'm just going to clear that due by time. And I'm just going to say okay on that job. And let's see. All right. So I think it's showing red because it is the last PM. Yeah, it's the last preventative maintenance job on file. So then it's going to drop this flag down to let you know that it's the last PM. So that's why that red color, didn't go away. So the dispatch board is very helpful in letting you know what's going on with those jobs. Either it's red because of an emergency, it's red because it's overdue, or it's red because it's that last PM that you have on your contract with them. So you do need to call the customer and get another contract going or send out another one of your mailers to get them back on your list. Okay, for next year. All right, so let's see what's going on with this. Okay, so now my work's been started and I can see on my dispatch board, I shouldn't have closed that. Oops. Here, it should be green. Yep, to let me know, hey, my work started. So as I progress throughout my statuses, this is going to change in color to let the office know what's going on. So I've started my work and now I'm going to go ahead and finish my job. It was a clogged sink there. I can see in the service and description here in the middle that it's clogged. So I'm going to go ahead and move that to complete. And now it's getting my location again. Must be moving slower today. If you find that you do have some issues like I'm having right now, go into your settings and go under company and let's find the okay. I'm looking for the GPS area. I will find it by the time we are done, hopefully. So I just hit complete and this work done note came up for me to go ahead and type in what I'm doing today. So I'm going to use voice to text. Customer called in because of a clogged sink in the master bedroom. I was able to unclog the sink. I was there for 1 hour period. So if I'm not taking a payment, I want to be as descriptive as possible in this area because this is what the office is going to use for billing. And if I do have a piece of equipment that I worked on, I would add it here underneath here. And if I didn't see it, I could always hit the addition in the bottom left-hand corner and then add a piece of equipment. So if you don't have equipment to track, go ahead and hit complete. And now it's going to bring me back to the work order. So at this point, I am going to grab a payment. I'm just going to say invoice total, add new line item. And I'm just going to search for my service trip charge. Now, even if I wasn't taking a payment, it's still nice to add my charges onto my invoice. So just one less thing for the office to do. But I know sometimes you don't like the technician seeing any payment information. So then at this point, I would go ahead and hit the square with the arrow through it and I would hit sign and I would accept a signature on that invoice. And then I'm going to hit done. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit pay now that they've signed. And I'm just going to say check. I'm going to say it's from Red Lobster. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And sink clogged. Oh, I guess I did say master bedroom. I don't think Red Lobster has a bedroom. In the store, there was a sink that was clogged. Okay, sink clog charge. And now I'm finished and I can email this off to the client. Okay, so now I'm done and I'm ready to go back to my next work order. So let's just see a scenario of not taking a payment. So this is waiting for me to get picked up. I can see it's a service agreement here. So I'm going to go ahead and say pick up and start. Oops, maybe I modified this. Okay, so I ended up giving that work order to somebody else. No fear. I'm going to create a new work order on the fly here. AC unit not working. And I can do this as a technician. I can create a work order from my device, and I can schedule it even for the next day if I wanted to, and hit save. So if the phones ever do roll over to your technicians, that's convenient because they can create a job right from their device. So now this is in my queue, and I can see it's under my waiting for pickup, and there it is. And this is scheduled for tomorrow. So I could start it today if I wanted to. You don't have to wait until tomorrow to start it. I'm going to say pick up and start. AC is not working. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and say complete. I fixed the AC unit. It had a missing coil. I was able to replace that, period. I used a coil 1897. Try that again. I used a coil 1897. There for 2 hours, period. Okay, so now I'm going to add my AC unit and I'm going to say complete. At this point, I'm not taking a payment, so I'm just going to go ahead and accept a customer signature, and they're going to accept it on the work order and accept. I'm going to have the customer sign, and I'm going to send it off to the customer. Okay, so now I'm done. So let's go back and find those 2 work orders. So let's see the completed today. So I've got Target and Red Lobster. Those are the 2 most current work orders that were completed. So this is the one we just did. It's been completed, and now the office just needs to prepare an invoice. So I'm just going to say invoice edit, and now I'm going to add my charges. I can see that he used a coil 1897. He was there for 2 hours. So I'm going to add the service trip charge. I'm going to add the labor for 2 hours. And I'm going to add that coil. I don't know if I have a coil. I don't, so I'm just going to say other. Okay. Now I'm going to say coil. I know that was $100 and there we go. So now I'm done. I have to change my quantity here to 2. And now I'm ready to move that to QuickBooks. So I'm going to hit approved and hit save. And now I'm going to come back to my other work orders and I'm going to move down to Red Lobster. This did have a payment taken, so it does automatically come in as approved. I can still edit that if I needed to. So I could move it out of approved and move it to prepared or not prepared and then edit it from there, but it does look correct. So I'm going to go ahead and open up QuickBooks now and run that synchronization between the 2 systems. So while that is syncing, I'm going to think I have a question over here. I guess I don't have any questions. Okay. So this sync you would run once a day, and it just takes a few minutes. And then we're going to be finished after this. And I do have a broadcast of today's recording that'll go out right after the meeting is over, that you can watch again and again if you would like. Now, QuickBooks, if you do create an invoice in QuickBooks, it's not going to push that invoice over to Intuit Field Service Management. And if you do create an invoice in Field Service, it will push it over to QuickBooks. So invoices are a one-way push. Customer information is a two-way push. So if you create a new customer in QuickBooks Desktop, it's going to create that customer in Field Service, and vice versa. So any customer changes you make and priceless items will go back and forth between both places. It won't create duplicates, of course. The system will just act as one unit. Okay, so it says it's got 2 approved invoices coming over, Red Lobster and Target, and one will be non-paid and one will be paid. And if you did in the settings check invoice mail or email later or print later, it will go to those queue areas. Of course, you could always use income tracker. Okay, I must have edited that information. Okay. Okay, so now we'll just go to our invoices and find them. So it was Target and Red Lobster. So there is that invoice from today, that non-payment. And the other one, if you do now, even if you didn't take a payment in the field, you could still take a payment in field service and push that over to make it, come over as a paid invoice. So this one is going to have a green paid stamp on it. So what I was saying is, if you wanted to, let me come back over here. So if you wanted to, you could, I'm just going to pick this up here. Here. Oh, it's not even scheduled to a technician. So first you have to schedule it. In order for me to push that through. That's what I'm trying to do. So now I can pick it up and complete it. And I just want to show you, when you're ready to go ahead, and you could take a payment right here. So let's say the technician doesn't take a payment in the field. You can take a payment here, before you send it over to QuickBooks, and it says payment is successful. And then you could even email off that payment and that receipt here that you took in the field before you go ahead and run that sync with QuickBooks. And then it'll come over right here with a green paid stamp. So you don't have to find it later, and then receive that payment against it. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. That was just what I had in store for you today. And I will have a broadcast go out with this demonstration. Thank you for thank you for all of your time. I always appreciate you joining me on here. Have a great week.